This just into CBS Sports HQ. The University of Virginia, reeling from that horrific gun violence that cost 3 football players their lives on Sunday, are holding a press conference this afternoon. Athletic Director Carla Williams and first-year head coach Tony Elliott discussing the impact of the violence and how they plan to address the rest of the football season. Let's send you out to Charlottesville to listen in.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, a very difficult time for our families, our players, our program, our university, our community. I do want to start by thanking some people who have supported us through this difficult time. First and foremost, our board. Rector Whit Clement and Vice Rector Robert Hardy and the Board of Visitors have been extremely supportive of us. Also want to thank President Jim Ryan and J.J. Davis for their support of our program during this time. Their support of our student athletes during this time has been tremendous. Want to thank the community as well, Charlottesville community, university community. We've gotten a ton of support from our colleagues across the country. I even saw a shirt that a hashtag Hokies for Who's. So we've gotten tremendous support from our friends in Blacksburg, in the ACC, and across the country. We've gotten a lot of support from our fans as well. You know, we compete hard, and you know, this industry is very, very competitive. But our fans have been remarkable and shown tremendous support to Coach Elliott, to me, to our department, to our university, but especially to our student athletes. And that has been a source of comfort for them to see how much support there is out there. So thank you for being here today.
You know, I would echo a lot of the comments that Ms. Carla just made. Extremely traumatic and hard time for our team, our program, our institution, our community, and just grateful to all of those who have reached out in support at all levels. My heart's hurting right now for, again, our university, our community, the team, the players, their families, the young men whose families have been impacted the most. That's where my thoughts are at this time, trying to provide all the resources and support that I possibly can. You know, I have to acknowledge the strength of our players and our staff at this time in coming together to be able to work to process what is taking place. Just like many of you all and many of those that are very close to the situation, still in shock, trying to rationalize, but also find encouragement in community with those that have come out in support, and then also those internally who have banded together to try and figure out, you know, how we move forward after going through a situation like this. So again, just heartfelt sympathies go out to, you know, the players, their families, their communities. You know, I think beyond just our communities, but communities in other states have been impacted by the loss of 3 beautiful young human beings that had a unbelievable future ahead of them. But the message to the team is we're going to celebrate those lives going forward and the impact that they've made thus far, and the legacy that they're going to be a part of helping us establish going forward.
As a reminder, as I said initially, there is an ongoing criminal investigation, so some matters we will not be able to answer or address. I'm going to kind of work my way back and apologize for stepping in front of the cameras at some point. If you can identify yourself and your news organization with your first question, and also who your question is directed to, we'd appreciate it. I'll start with Preston.
Yeah, Tony, if you could just kind of describe the past 24 plus hours just with the team and kind of how y'all have approached this past day.
Yeah, it feels like it's a nightmare, to be honest with you. And I'm ready for somebody to pinch me and wake me up and say that this didn't happen. It's been I don't even know how long it's been since it happened. It's been and the minutes can't go by fast enough. The approach with the team is, once we were given the clear to communicate, we immediately got the team together and just started the process of grieving together and fellowshipping and trying to make sure that nobody was isolated, that everybody was together, pooled all the resources that we could from a counseling standpoint to give these young men the support that they need. The first meeting was really, really tough. Really, really, really tough. Today was much better. We were able to transition from the pain to finding a little bit of joy in celebrating the lives of Lavelle, Deshaun, and Devin. And so today started probably how the last 2 days have started, but it ended a lot better. And I think, the guys are on the road to healing, but it's going to take some time. And our approach is to keep them together as much as we possibly can, to make sure we have eyes on them, because nothing can prepare you for this situation, and we just want to be there to support the guys. And so we're slowly trying to process and move forward, but we're looking for the positive and keeping, close reins on each other so we can grieve together.
Jackie from 24/7. Carlo, what kind of steps for counseling, like, Ellie just touched on, what can you guys been doing for these student athletes moving forward?
So fortunately, we have 3 in-house psychologists for our athletics department, and our lead sports psychologist once worked with the university, and so he's got great connections with the university. So in our first meeting with the student athletes, we had a lot of counselors on hand that were there and available to work with the student athletes, and that not only our football student athletes, but all of our student athletes, we had counselors available for.
Greg Medea from Daily Progress. Tony, just your memories of Lavelle, Deshaun, and Devin, and some of the maybe memories that your players shared with you today.
Appreciate you asking that question. Lavelle, I've known Lavelle for a long time. I recruited him starting his freshman year, and just to see him grow, but big smile, lights up the room, and most people would say because he's the tallest guy in the room, but just his presence, he's got a gentleness about him, but he's passionate about what he believes in. And so a lot of the stories today were just about the silly basketball arguments that they would have in debates in the locker room, and everybody knew that they could get Lavelle to kind of hunker down just by saying one thing. But the other thing that resonated is just how good of a teammate he was, and how much he loved his teammates and would do anything for his teammates. And Deshaun, I don't think many people outside of our program understand how special Deshaun was. Very, very, very artistic. Could draw, could shape pots with clay. Loved music. Very, very cultured and well-rounded. Just a great teammate, and he had a sense of humor that was one of a kind, that only Deshaun could have. And you knew immediately when somebody said something, yeah, that was Deshaun. And then you talk about Devin, man. Devin was he's what you wanted in a young person that's at this level, but he just was a big kid. Smiled all the time, loved to dance, loved to sing, loved to compete, even though the guys revealed that he wasn't very good in video games, but he thought he was. But he loved to compete, and just the thing I remember about him is he always brought a smile to my face, because he just was happy with where he was, comfortable in his skin, and just had a very bubbly personality.
Hi there, Sydney Schuler with the Daily Progress. I'm sorry for your loss, Coach, for the both of you. I just wanted to ask, how are you coping, and how have you and the other members of the football department, how have you been able to cope and lean on each other? Do you have access to those same counseling resources?
I'll start, and for me, the best coping mechanism for me is the young men. Having a chance to be around them and to see them and to see their pain, to see their hurt, just inspires me to keep pushing forward every single day. There's no you prepare for this job. There's no chapter on a situation like this, and so I'm just trying to figure out step by step how to be strong for these young men, and so I'm really relying on my faith, the foundation that I have there, trying to use that to inspire me every minute of the day. Also trying to make sure that I stay empathetic to everybody and understanding that everybody's going to respond differently to this situation. And, you know, my job is to lead in moments like this. And so I've had my moments where I've broken down and showed my emotions, and I've even had those moments in front of the team. You know, I think it's important that we all grieve. I mean, these are outstanding young men that we don't understand why they're gone so early, and I think it's honorable that we grieve these young men, but also too we have to keep it in perspective and make sure that we take this pain that we're feeling and try to find a way to turn it into passion and motivation to go forward one day at a time.
Virginia head coach Tony Elliott discussing the trauma of dealing with the death of 3 of his players who were killed on Sunday night. He said it's been a nightmare, and they're trying to grieve as a team together and trying to go through the process of grieving together, reminiscing about his players, Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry, who were all shot and killed. 2 other people are in hospital. 1 is a player and 1 is a student. Former walk-on Christopher Jones Jr. is in custody, facing 3 counts of second-degree murder and 3 counts of using a handgun in the commission of a felony. Athletic Director Carla Williams and Tony Elliott, the head coach of Virginia, speaking this afternoon to the media.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.